All right, so we're up to Gemini Ascendant, Gemini rising sign. So if you're new to my channel, I'm doing the explanation of what are rising signs. And rising sign it's not just your personality like Gemini personality. No, rising sign sets the entire map of your entire life. A foundation, I'm going to talk about the foundation, what kind of a family you will have, the basis of it, what kind of education, children, marriage, career you have. Now, if that's going to be good or bad, that depends on how the planets are situated. However, the foundation kind of stays the same. So we're going to discuss what is your life map is like if during your birth you are a Gemini rising sign, which means the moment you were born, let's say April 15th, 1975, you were born at 6 p.m. So at that time, the east side where the sun rises from, if that side had the Gemini constellation rising, that becomes your ascendant. That becomes your rising sign. That becomes your AKA Lagna in Vedic astrology. Okay, and this is based on Vedic calculation. Vedic calculation is always 23 degrees behind versus the Western. Okay, so Gemini ascendant people, who are they? Well, obviously we know what Gemini is. These are the people who want to dip their hands in 10 different things and they want to succeed in 10 different things and they're able to do it. Okay, just like look at Donald Trump, look at any entrepreneur out there. You know, they have this Gemini energy within them. Gemini feels like they're able to go on 10 different directions and succeedingly, you know, accomplish those destinations that they're trying to go to, okay? Because their mind is spread out. Gemini, it represents two things, communication and intelligence, because it is ruled by Mercury, okay? Mercury is that sign that wants to do business. You know, it's because Mercury is the messenger from one king to the other, okay? He is the prince. So these guys, the very first house of Gemini represents this actual quality, their personality. However, their family and their family environment and their wealth and savings, which is represented by the second house of the astrological birth chart, it's kind of, you know, goes up and down, because it's ruled by the fourth sign, Moon, Cancer. And Moon is about the waves, tides, going up and down, because Moon waxes and wanes, okay? And this represents the mother is ruling the second house. And what happens is mother is the person that usually accumulates a lot of wealth. You know, if you're a Gemini rising, you must see that your mom was like just holding a lot of things with her. She had a lot of possession, a lot of jewelry with her. She saved up. And, you know, mother becomes a huge influence in the family for Gemini ascendant, you know, because their communication with the mother is more important than other family members because of the fact mother, the sign of mother, Cancer, is ruling the second house. Now, how good or bad the communication will be depends on the sign where Moon is placed, okay? So their wealth goes up and down in their life. They suffer that depending upon how well the Moon is placed. Like look at Donald Trump. He's a Gemini ascendant. The guy filed for business bankruptcy 3 times. Not personal, business bankruptcy. Because of the fact, you know, he wasn't able to pay back his loans that he took to make all these golf courses. However, their communication is excellent. And their communication is very bright and bold. You know, they want to charge ahead with their communication that, hey, this is what it is. I'm communicating this with you. Why? Because the third house of communication is ruled by Sun. Sun, which is the brightest vitality out there. So their communication, this is why Gemini Ascendant are very good communicators, because Sun, the power, the entire bright power in the sky rules communication. So when they do communication, they do mass communication. You know, like broadcasting or any live event like Ryan Seacrest is the type of communication, okay? Directors, film directors, because a camera becomes a tool of communication for film directors. Now, here's the thing about Gemini Ascendant. When it comes to their home life and building a home and living in a home, they become very calculated with that. Like, okay, we're going to do this, this, and this. We're going to have a pool, but we're going to have it this size because I know the bill is going to be this much. We're going to get this sofa, this furniture, because they calculate that. They do all these calculations when it comes to their home. And this is why also it kind of becomes turbulent. It kind of becomes a very, you know, you don't become authoritative, yet you become a kind of annoying in your family, because you're like, as a father, you will always calculate, okay, we're going to do here, but this is our budget. We're going to do it because fourth house of home environment is ruled by Virgo, which is all about calculation. That's where the intelligence comes into play. Gemini is communication, Virgo is intelligence, okay? But it's still ruled by Mercury, so they both have a little bit of both, okay? So it becomes a calculative environment for these guys. Now, is it good, or like, is it kind of good way where family feels like, okay, our dad is a good investment planner, you know, or man, our dad needs to get a life, or mom needs to get a life. That's when how good or bad your ascendant Lord Mercury is placed, because it's ruling the ascendant in the 4th house. Now, the children, that's a very balancing act for the Gemini ascendant. They want to make sure that the children get the proper nourishment, meaning that they get the right amount of education, right amount of entertainment, right amount of sports, right amount of everything, because Libra is ruling the sign which rules the 5th house of children and education. So they're very balanced when it comes to education and raising their children. They want to do everything just right. They don't want to go extreme of things, and they don't want to, you know, go below a certain point. Now, how balanced is that? Again, depends on how well Venus is placed in this birth chart. Okay. However, these guys deal with a lot of enemies in their life. They face a lot of opposition, and they face a lot of debt. Just like Donald Trump, I told you, because 6th house of debt, enemies, and diseases is ruled by Mars. Okay, I'm not going to go to the diseases one because I'm going to do a separate one for that. But because of Mars is the enemy of the ascendant, it gives a lot of opposition. These guys face a lot of competition in business. Okay, and when it comes to their marriage too, it's not as pleasant as you think, because you think that Jupiter is ruling the 7th house of marriage, so it's going to be a very smooth ride. No, the foundation of this is that Gemini is a very communicative planet. It wants to communicate with a partner. However, when Jupiter is ruling the 7th house, they get a partner who is very philosophical in their approach, and who's very, I wouldn't say intellectual, but very idealistic in their approach. Like, these people will be infusing their beliefs onto the Gemini native. And Gemini native may not like that, because they're very open, they're very independent kind of people. You know, so that's kind of happens in their marriage. Now, how good or bad that situation will be depends upon how Jupiter is situated. But they will feel that, okay, stop this religious, philosophical bullcrap. You know, let's just have fun. Let's communicate in a fun way. So that kind of happens with these guys, okay? And these guys have very long life. Usually they have very long life. They live a very disciplined long life, because Saturn rules their 8th house of longevity. Anytime Saturn rules the 8th house, or sitting in the 8th house, aspecting the 8th house, whether debilitated or not, Saturn is a signifactor of longevity. So Saturn gives them good longevity and good discipline in their life, and from the wife's family. The communication with the wife's family, which is represented by the 8th house, is very carefully articulated, and very it's very restrictive. They want to make sure that, okay, my communication with my wife's family must be good. You know, I want to leave a good impression. Okay, their education, their higher education, their philosophical views is very independent and very broad. They don't stick to one thing. Oh, I am a Episcopalian, I'm a Christian, I'm a evangelical. That's it. No, Gemini ascendant usually be like, you know, okay, I'm a Christian. Let me find out what Hinduism is about. Let me find out what Islam is about. I won't follow it, but I want to know, because Aquarius is ruling the 9th house of their philosophical views, and Aries and I mean Aquarius is ruling in the 9th house. Aquarius is about broadened thinking, like universal thinking. Okay, so that's why these guys have a taste for culture. Now, Gemini people are very diplomatic in their career. So the sign of Pisces, which is ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter is about preaching. So these guys usually teach, you know, a wisdom, some sort of a wisdom. They communicate some sort of a wisdom with the people who are helpless, people who can help themselves, you know. And remember, Gemini is about communication. So their career goes into communication, but communication of preaching. Like, anytime they go in any kind of career, they will always end up wanting to instill some sort of a wisdom, want to communicate, hey, this is how you approach life. Let's say if it's a writer in his book will always try to infuse some sort of a wisdom. Like, hey, this is how life needs to be. If, let's say, you take Donald Trump, and his career is about real estate. What he will do, he will preach the fact, this is how you do real estate. He'll write books on real estate. This is how I deal with real estate, and this is how it should be. Preaching about it, that's how it should be. So their community, they really become a Jupiterian energy when it comes to their career, okay? And their 11th house of gains and friends and social network has a very importance in their life. Why? Because it's ruled by Mars. Mars is what? Mars is energy. So their energy, the source of their energy is their network and their friends who they can communicate with. And through that communication, the energy of money comes into play. So that's very important. And Mars, even though it's an enemy, however, they can gain through enemies. They gain through communication. They're very smart. A businessman will not just go to an enemy and just say, screw you or F you, They will be very, very smart. They'll say, hey, how you doing? What's going on? So, let's go for a cup of tea. Or, how people are when they meet at party, they're very nice, but behind their back, they're always trying to screw each other up. So these guys are very articulate in their approach in business sense, that they'll say, hey, so what's going on? And the enemy will start speaking out, oh yeah, I'm doing this, this, and this. Oh, they'll be like, oh, he's doing this and this. Let me do this and that. So you see how that works. Okay, and these guys are very much visionaries. They have tremendous vision, and they have vision for a better life. Why? Because their 12th house is ruled by Venus, Taurus, which is very stable. It's not a very chaotic energy because it's an earth sign. So these guys are able to imagine a lot of things. This is why good writers, good directors, good actors, good painters, artists have a very vivid imagination, because of the fact that 12th house of spirituality, 12th house of giving their energy away, is very creative. So guys, this was my analysis of the Gemini Ascendant. Don't want to prolong this any longer. I've already passed the 10-minute mark. So anyway, I'm going to see you tomorrow with the Cancer Ascendant. If you're new to my channel, subscribe above, because hey, you're finding some of the most amazing treasure on YouTube here on my channel. So might as well subscribe so you don't have to look for treasure anywhere. I'm giving it to you. Come on. And if you want to know more about astrology, check out my link below. Check out my book there, Astrology at the Speed of Light, because you will learn astrology at the speed of light. Guarantee you. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow. See ya. Time to go to the beach and have fun.